Hi guys, Saku wants to fight here. Just gonna say this, Happy New Year's. I hope your 2025 turns out better than 2024, and any goals you do have in mind, just keep at it, no matter what. Now, when you think of Konami, what is the game you think of? Is it this, this, or this? Oh right, Kensei, Sacred Fist, also known as Boogie in Japan, a 3D fighter developed and published by Konami in 1998 for the Sony PlayStation. Now, Konami isn't a company when you think of fighting games, and honestly, outside of my knowledge regarding this genre, I was genuinely surprised. But more or less, we are going to find out if the game is any good. So, the controls are reminding me of games similar to Dead or Alive, particularly from 2 and onwards. So, obviously you are going to be moving in a 2D dimension, moving left and right, with the addition of moving up and down on Z-axis, which acts as a sidestep. If you double tap any of these buttons on the D-pad or stick, they can result in evading or dashing. You have 4 buttons mapped accordingly. X is for defense, square is punch, triangle is kick, and circle is catch, which acts as the, grapple if you must. You can map out these to any buttons as you wish, but personal for this kind of setup, I think you could do a lot better with a stick. But if you are playing on the controller, or D-pad if you wish, you can change that. But the question is, how well does this game translate to playing? Let's find out.
Ready? Fight!
Now before I go into the meat and veg of the games, there are 6 modes that has pretty much been a staple in every majority of the games I've reviewed. You have a normal mode, which is more or less the arcade mode of the game, which is kind of surprising because this game didn't receive an arcade port, and like any arcade modes in any other fighting games, it results in going through multiple stages, in Kensei's case 10 stages, fighting 8 people before going to a sub-boss who, regardless of which character you pick, will be the unlockable character after you beat the game. More on that later. Then you have Versus, Time Attack, Survival and Training modes, which should be of no surprise being the following staple in every game I've reviewed for this PlayStation. Okay, maybe not these games, but I'm just getting ahead of myself. When selecting any mode of your choice, you have a selection of 9 characters to choose from, while 13 are unlocked unless a requirement is met, and once completing the arcade run with a character, you unlock a sub-boss that you faced in that run. Each character unlocked of the 9 original roster has the same moves. And also, I'm just going to come out and say this, I literally saw the best character ever that made me giggle, with where that dude Doug looks like a Temu version of Steven Seagal.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Now when we go into the arcade mode, which is the mode that most single players tend to go through. You have to go through 10 stages of what could possibly be the most mediocre game. I thought at first when I went in pressing the defend button like I would with either Virtua Fighter or Dead or Alive, but it doesn't necessarily block. Instead of blocking, it turns into a more like a duck and weave motion, and I learnt this when I was fighting the last boss, which I really wished I knew I did this before playing Yu Lee in the game. But as far as gameplay goes, it's a bit clunky in movement and the fighting can be, well, rather tedious, but honestly, it is not the worst thing I've ever played on the PlayStation considering, well, this piece of shit exists. So, should you play Kensei Sacred Fist, and is the game any good? Honestly, there have been worse titles on the PlayStation that makes Kensei seem like the better game in comparison, but if I'm being realistic, out of the 3D fighter boom of the 90s that makes me think of the genre, Kensei wouldn't be this. Also because I didn't have it back then, so take that as you will. Sure, this is the PlayStation, and the gameplay and graphics can be easily forgiven because when I've been playing it, it's not really a terrible game. But when it comes to certain aspects of the gameplay and combat mechanics, a lot less to be desired, in all fairness. But as far as this game goes, it is a, well, okay game for the most part. I mean, if you really want to play a better 3D fighter, personally, just play the ones I've reviewed or Bloody Roar 2. Now, if this game interests you, you can buy copies for no more than £10 if you live in the PAL region, but also saying that, if you can't find a copy cheap enough in your region, you know what to do. Yay, piracy. That does it for now. If you like what you saw, remember to like, comment and subscribe if you so choose to. I've been Saku. Fuck off.